Hi, my name's Wilx, and this is episode 8 of Age of Engineering. And today we're going to be doing bees and trees. To be honest with you, this is actually my second try at this one. I had posted one earlier, and I took it down. I deleted it. I don't delete them very often. But I had made such a bad mistake that I felt it was necessary. I had tried to use bee houses to do some mutations, and I was getting terrible results and couldn't figure out why. And Uris Merrick pointed out to me, or reminded me, that you can't mutate bees in a bee house. So that's why I was getting the bad results. And I'd completely forgotten about that. So this is what a bee house looks like. That's an apiary. You got to use an apiary if you're going to get a mutation, or something else like an aviary or something. Okay, so I'm going to explain all about bees and trees. Hopefully I'll do it in a way that people from other packs can even use this information. Doesn't necessarily have to be just from this pack, but so long as you know that in this pack we don't have gendistry, we don't have Beanies mods, which was the original Forestry way of making modifications to bees and stuff. We've got to do everything the hard way. So let's get started. First off, when you're going to get started on bees, you need to make yourself scoops. And that's just wool with some sticks around them. You take those scoops. Actually, before we cover that, this is something I didn't show you last episode. This is the Forestry work table. It can save recipes. So for instance, I can press on wool. I can make my wool, put the wool down here, grab a bunch of scoops out. It saves the recipes and has its own little inventory. It's a very good little device. Okay, so you take your scoops, you go out into the overworld. This is the mining world, so it doesn't really count. And then you start hitting the hives with the scoops. If you hit them with anything other than a scoop, the bees won't pop out. So you got to use a scoop when you do it. Well, there might be a few other things, but I don't think there's anything else in this pack. Maybe some of the miners or something might be able to get them out. So I ran around all over the overworld, and I got myself lots of meadows, forests, some modest. I think the modest were in some bee houses at one of the villages I visited. I actually got some commons. Again, it was meadows in a bee house, but when I took the queens back, ran them through the... actually, I ran them through a bee house, and out popped commons, actually. Valiants are a rare drop from other types of hives. I got some wintries, some rockies, and some marshies. You need marshies and rockies for what I want to do, as well as the others. For making apiaries and bee houses and stuff, or the workbench anyways, to make the workbench, it's a chest, a crafting table, and a book. It's very easy to make. This is a dual crafter that I'm in. You use a chest and two crafting tables to make it. Showing it off it as well as the other option. Actually, one of the things that I did was I traded villagers for a lot of things. I came to a number of different villages, and I got a lot of stuff from them. Notice nether stars. So what happened for the nether stars is one of the villages had these villagers. I forget what they're called. Hold on. Let's take a quick look. I saved some of them here. They're called shady merchants. And the shady merchants, this guy was one of the ones that had nether stars. I got to leave him sit out here before he replenishes his thing. I'm a little nervous that they might go away if I don't put name tags on them. However, somebody else in the comments says that they didn't think that happened anymore. I don't know. We'll leave him sit out there and see if he replenishes. This particular shady merchant might never replenish for the nether stars. I don't know. Now what had happened was I traded with one. I got one nether star. And he vanished after that. So I went away and I came back later and I looked around again to see if he'd come back again. And sure enough, I saw another one. I think it was a different one actually that had nether stars as well. So I traded him twice for nether stars. It was a bunch of emeralds to get them. And I got two and he vanished after that. Then I looked down at the nether stars and they said something like fake nether stars and they were flashing on and off or something. I guess that's the idea of it being a shady merchant. So I was going to bring them back and show them to you. And I had the real nether stars maybe up here or something and the fake nether stars down here somewhere. I hit sort and they stacked and they seemed to turn into real nether stars. So don't throw them out if you get them. See if you can get them to combine and turn into real nether stars. But I got lots of emeralds from them. Bring lots and lots of paper with you, bags and bags of paper. A stack of paper will get you a couple of emeralds. And that's probably the most common trade they offer. There'd be like 3 different guys in every village that want to trade paper for emeralds. There's a couple other good things you can do, like these treated sticks, but they're a little more rare to find those guys. There's usually one guy that'll trade you coal for emeralds if you want to bring those, but my coal's a little more dear in this pack. I don't have a lot to spare. I did get some dragon eggs. I don't know what use they'll be, but and a bunch of other stuff, jams and things. Oh, and I did trade for a lot of tree stuff, but we'll get into that later. I automated my apiaries. Notice that there is a item transfer node underneath. It pulls the stuff out of this apiary, goes back up, wraps around, tries to feed the guys back into the apiary. If it can't, then it continues on up and gets to this chest, and that's where the combs and stuff go. And I did this all along. Now, to get myself started, I took a look at a few different types of bees here. Have I got one in here? Yeah, I do. Oh, we need a beealizer. Not a beealizer, it's called a portable analyzer. Let's see what we've got to do to make that. Now this is a combination of what used to be called the beealizer and the treealizer. They're in one now called a portable analyzer, if you remember them from before. You make that in the Carpenter. It's glass panes, tin, redstone, and a diamond. Notice it's water. Now there's a couple of different ways of dealing with this. Let's go over here and take a look at our Carpenter. Right now I've got my Carpenter automated. It's getting seed oil and it's making impregnated sticks. I'm using those to make frames and stuff. So I decided to automate it all out. And what I've done is canola goes in here, goes through there into this mechanical crafter. This is different than this is the extra utilities mechanical crafter. You can make them now. I've showed you how to make all the stuff that goes in them. They're a little more involved than making the progressive automation ones, but they don't need power. And so it made a whole pile of canola seeds. Those canola seeds are being fed into here. Here, I'll show you it working. Whoops. There we go. So they get fed into here. Oops, I moved it recently. There we go. It makes the canola seeds and then feeds it in from there. So to transfer the fluid, I'm using a fluid tank. This thing is set for pull on this side and push on that side. So it's actually basically acting like a pipe right now because it's going straight through, but normally it could get backed up or whatever. Then the fluid goes into the carpenter and it makes the impregnated sticks. I need to put some wood in there soon. Now, if I wanted to change it over to water, what I would do is I would take this, turn this around, change it from push to pull any seed oil that was in there out, and then I come over to this water one, and I change that side to push, make whatever I needed with water, like the Analyser, the portable analyzer, and then I could suck the water back out and put the seed oil back in again. That's probably more complicated than it needs to be. These Carpenters are fairly cheap. I'm going to make a second one for water because I'm going to have to use water a lot for some other things, and I don't want to have to keep switching back and forth. I did not make the centrifuge in the last episode. What I'm doing with that is the combs go in here, and that splits them into honey drops. Lots more honey drops. I've used a bunch. And beeswax. I use the honey drops to power this thing. Each time I put a bee in there, it eats one honey drop. It can be a stack of bees and still one honey drop, but I use one for each time I try to figure out what I've got. So let's go over this portable analyzer now and what we've got in there. So the forest drones, I noticed when I put them in this here that one or two of the forest drones did not stack. So I took a look at some of the ones that did stack and one that didn't stack. I've already tested them here. And I noticed that he had tolerant flyer and the other ones did not. And we'll get into what that means. So I decided to use tolerant flyers for my breeding purposes. But let's go over these details. So when you're looking at this page, you've got active and inactive for bees. Now, when you're breeding up, you can have two, like the species here is forest. But when I'm breeding them together, I might end up with a forest meadows or something else like that. And the traits may differ between, so it adopts some traits from the drone, some traits from the princess, or even the princess could have multiple different types of traits that all get mixed in there together. And I can choose from any one of the four, the two from here, the princess, and the two from the drone. But let's go over what these things are. Lifespan. The shorter the lifespan, the faster it will turn from a queen into a princess and have babies. So when you're breeding, you want the shortest one you can. Some people seem to think that the longest lifespan is best for production. I don't think it really matters. They're just trying to avoid having too many drones to deal with. You can send them to a trash can or something if you wish. Production, that's how often it will try to produce a comb. So you want fastest here if you can. Pollination, that's how often it will try to plant a flower or mutate a tree. We're not really worried about that one so much. By the way, if you don't like flowers and you don't like butterflies, bees are going to annoy you. To avoid the problem with flowers, anywhere you don't want flowers to grow, pave it. All right, so that's pollination, flower type. Each different bee, well, some of them will be the same, but there can be a number of different flower types. For instance, rocky will need rocks. Modest will need cactus, etc. There can be a bunch of different types of things for flowers. And they've got to have flowers within range. They've got to meet these things to be active. Fertility, that's how many babies the queen will have each time she turns into a princess. 3 is very good. 2 is the norm for most bees. However, some of them can be as low as 1, which is horrible for breeding purposes. It's very hard to breed bees up when you've only got a fertility of 1. The best you can do is 4. I think the Majestic we're going to talk about in a little while has 4, if I remember correctly. Territory is how far away they will make those flowers and stuff. See, the flowers go to a certain distance and then stop. It's also how far they can mutate trees and things as well. Effect. These ones have none. A lot of them have none. There can be beneficial effects, like I think Majestic has, or Imperial, I forget which one, has beautification. But there are negative ones, and watch for those. Obviously, if it's going to say something like demonic or sinister, watch for the effect. It's going to be a negative effect. You can minor negative effects like tropical will have bees that bite you and do a little bit of damage. The major negative effects that I've seen before, for instance, in Beyond Reality, Greg Tech Pack I played a while back, I'd made up one bee, had a really bad negative effect. It would pick a block at random within distance and it'd just vaporize it. If it happened to be an expensive machine, it would vaporize the expensive machine. So I'd planted it in an apiary, went away, came back later, and it had done all sorts of damage to my base, ruining machines and all sorts of stuff. So be careful of the effects. Now there's a second page to this that we need to pay attention to. And this is what the bee needs to function. So for this bee, it needs normal for the climate. Now, we're in a normal one for the mining age. Tolerance can go up and down. There is a number of different climates you can have. It goes icy, then cold, then normal, then warm, then hot, then hellish. So it can go as much as 3 on the hot side. You can have tolerances of 1 up or 1 down or 1 of each. And so to use a bee that needed a hot climate, I'd need a tolerance of 2 up to do it, or 2 in each direction in the normal biome. Humidity goes damp, normal, arid. So if you're normal, it's only ever off by 1. For instance, one of the bees we're going to try to work with, the marshy bees, is going to need a tolerance of damp. So unless it has a tolerance of 1, I can't use it in normal. One of their princesses anyways. I can use the drones. This means it can function during the day. I'm not going to pronounce it. People get mad at me when I mispronounce it. Nocturnal, that means they can function at night. So this bee cannot function at night. And this is a tolerant flyer, which means it can function in the rain. A lot of bees cannot function in the rain. Cave dwelling, this one can't work underground. Basically, if it's not cave dwelling, you can't have anything above it. It must be able to see sky. Now, there's a couple other pages, but we don't care about it. Well, you can see what it produces, what the mutations are, but you've got to learn them first anyway, so who cares? And I never look at that page. Okay. So then for breeding purposes, I had got all sorts of meadows, pristine meadows, and I decided to turn them into other things. So for my breeding pairs, notice I've got a whole pile of pristine forests and a whole pile of pristine Rockies that we're going to be using right now. And this is how I changed them over. I took a forest and one of the meadows that I wanted. Oh, I guess I should explain something else first. So to get lots of drones, I put them in an automated one. I used one of my good forests and one of my good drones. So I started breeding them up with the tolerant flyers by putting them in here, and it just kept producing drone after drone after drone after drone. And what I'll do is I actually take, not one, but I want 16 drones. And then I put them in one of these automated ones. I put the meadows in there and 16 drones with it. And as you can see, it's going to eat one of these drones and turn that into a queen. Now it's down to 15. So it's going to go through its procedure, And when it finishes, it's going to draw the next drone from the stack and keep doing that over and over again. And the ones that don't stack with it are going to go up into this chest up here. And eventually, at about maybe 8 drones that it goes through, they're all going to start to stack. And then this number will grow back up, and when it hits 16 again, I know that this the princess that will be up here, the forest princess, will now be of this type. So that's how I made all these others over here. The Rockies are nothing special. They were just whatever I could get. So let's try some mutations here. So we're going to take a whole bunch of forests, and we're going to take those and we're going to mix them with some meadows. Oh, and why are we doing that? Well, what we're working for here is we want to eventually make alveraries. And this is a multi-block that you use instead of the apiaries. And you can control climate and things like that in one of these. But we need scented paneling, which needs royal jelly and pollen clusters as well as honey to make it. So it's fairly involved. It's a 3 by 3 by 3, so it needs 27 blocks. And lots of these panels, like it was 8 on each one. So to get to royal jelly, actually let's, we need imperial bees. To get to imperial bees, we've got to combine a majestic and a noble. To get to majestic, we've got to combine a noble and a cultivated. To get to noble, we have to bind a common and a cultivated. To get a cultivated, we've got to do a common with one of the hive bees, like forest, meadows, modest, etc. And to get to common, it's 2 hive bees of any type other than rocky. Now, in most packs, rocky would have been okay, but this pack does different things with rockies. All right, so let's put them in here. So a forest and 1 drone. Forest and 1 drone. Sorry if this takes a sec. I don't have that many of them. I've got, what, 9 of these that I made up. I think I missed a spot. Was it here? Yeah. Because I was going to have too many left over at the end. Let's do the front one. Okay, so we'll get those working. While they're working, we're going to do another set as well. So something else we want to make is to get into Ender IO, we're going to want lots of clay. So we're going to want a clay bee is probably the easiest way to get them in this pack. Whoops. So to get the clay, we're going to need a dirty and a marshy. Marshy's a hive bee, so they're not too hard to come by, other than the fact that they don't want to work in this biome. And dirty is a combination of rocky and forest. Now, different than the way it normally works. Notice that this is a rocky princess, rocky princess, rocky princess. They don't have any rockies over here on the drones all the way down. It looks like it always has to be a rocky princess. I haven't properly tested that to confirm that it's not just an NEI thing, but it could be that you have to use the rocky as the princess when you do it. When we get to the dirty, use. Dirty and marshy. Again, it looks like it's the dirty princess only, unless he designed those himself and he just got lazy moving it over and didn't mention both. I don't know. Okay, so to get there, we're going to take a whole bunch of rocky princesses and some forest drones to try and get to dirty. So that goes in there. Whoops. Let's not use the bee analyzer when we do that. And that's them. Let's get this guy out of here. Okay, so now that's going to take some time for them to do it. Like we started those, and whoops, it's partway through, but not nearly there. So let's go on to talking about trees for now. So trees. I traded a bunch of stuff to the villagers, as I said before. And there's two important ones that you want to get. The common walnut sapling. I traded for all the stuff they would, but you don't need to do that. You want at least 4 of these. What they were doing was they were trading emeralds for 3 common saplings. So you need to do that twice for the walnut saplings. And you also want to do it at least once for the hill cherry saplings. You need 1 of them. So then what I did was I came over here and I planted the walnut ones in a 2x2 and used some of that fertilizer that I have here and grew them up right away. Then I chopped them down with a lumber axe immediately and collected my saplings, and I had lots more saplings. I did the same thing with cherries, the cherry wood, and grew that up and got myself some more saplings with it. So then what we're looking to get to is the chestnut. And the way we're going to do that is we take some of those walnut saplings that I got, and I put them through this and that makes them active. They can now mutate. They can mutate with bees or even with butterflies, and butterflies can make it all the way over there. And but butterflies don't do it as fast as bees do. Bees are a lot more active. And then they can mutate and you combine these 2 types of trees together to get yourself the chestnut. Now, I am wearing spectacles. They're just a couple of pieces of glass and a piece of bronze, and that's it. Notice that these leaves here are a purple color. That's the normal color. And these ones are red. And then what you need, I didn't even make any of these on my own. I just picked them up from the villagers. We come along here and we hit it with one of these and it drops a sapling. We come along, we find another one and it drops saplings again, and here's 2 more. Here's a couple more. And did I get all of them? There might be some on top, but I don't care. I'll probably get enough as it is. So we'll come over here. Now these ones are a little harder to tell. See that dark green? Don't go by the dots. That's the fruit. Some of the fruit hasn't matured on this. They go orange when they're matured. But see how these leaves are a lighter green? That's what we're looking for. I think that's it. Let's take a look at what we've got here. We got 3 of the sweet chestnuts. I need a 4th. Oh, there's somebody else. Actually, let's use the damaged one. That is one, right? Nope. Wasn't what I wanted. Are you green? I think you are, and I think your friend is too. Okay, well, I'm being unlucky this time. The first time when I did this episode, I got my 4, but not yet. So I've got to give it a little more time. I'm going to get a 4th one. I'm not going to bother showing you that. I'm not going to wait. And then I'll plant them, grow the 4 up, and I will get my chestnuts. So why do I want chestnuts so bad? What about chestnuts are of interest? Okay, chestnuts, use. Okay, so if I put them in a squeezer, I get 220 millibuckets of seed oil from 1 chestnut. If I put a seed in a squeezer, I get 10 millibuckets. So I get 22 times as much from this as I would get from seeds of various different types. The cherries from the cherry tree are 50. Yeah, 180. So if you didn't feel like breeding, 180 is not bad. 220 if you want the chestnut. Now, I'm not 100% sure what we have in this pack that can pick fruit. In Forestry, you can make the Forestry multi-farms, put them in orchard mode, and it can do it. I'm wondering if anything else can pick these. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff. So I'll save those. I can save the fruit off of it, but all this other stuff is junk. I don't need the partially mutated ones. I don't even need to look at them, because I'm getting what I want anyways. And we can get rid of this as well. Okay. I wonder if we've gotten anywhere yet. Yes, we have. And yes, we are getting results this time. I did not last time in the bee houses. I'll pull them all out, let some of them stack and stuff, and then I'll start looking at my results. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got here. Well, I can tell right off the bat that I've got a common there and a common there. And some of these others might be half-breeds. But let's see if we got lucky and got a pure common or not. Oh. Take this guy out. Pure common. Got one. Yes. That's what we were looking for. What about you? You're a common, you're a split. Okay. What about our other princesses? Nope. Nope. You're a split. You're a split for common. Whoops. You were my good one, right? Yeah. You're my good one. I don't really need to see these other bees because I have some pure commons that I got. I got some of them from the bee houses at the villages, and then when I was breeding up those forest drones and stuff, I got some more as well. So I got some pure commons. So I'm going to dump my junk. Oh, did I test that one? Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to dump my junk up here. Well, obviously you are a common split, right? You're going to be a common split. I'll have to double check those. But I'm not as worried about these ones right now. Okay, so let's check these others. Haven't checked you. You're a common. Good. Common forester split. Common forester split. Common forester split. Okay. So, did I grab my pure commons out of here yet? No. So we're going to come over here, and now for the second phase of this, I'm going to stick my best bee in first. That's a pure common all the way. Now, none of... Actually, let's double check. Did this guy have any better or any worse traits? No, he's got all junk traits. All junk. So I didn't get any good traits coming out of this one. But that's obviously going to make me a common, and it's probably going to start getting stacking drones and stuff as well. Next up, we'll try to turn this one with, whoops, not those. Those are the splits. So we'll try to turn, where was I here? Yeah. This one into a common. See if we can do any better. We'll try to turn this one into a common. See if we can do any better. Let's put back our good ones for there, and we'll throw. Where did I throw my junk? There. Okay. Oh, actually, those are we know them to be impure commons, so we'll save them as impure commons, which I have a bunch of. All right. Next up, let's deal with our dirties. Okay, so what have we got here? Let's take a look at the ones that are possible first. You are a split. You are a split. Another split. And another split. Those are all the possibilities on it. So I did not get one that was pure on the princesses. Damn it. Well, let's look at the drones next. You're a split. You're a split. Whoops, hold it. You're an unknown. You're a split. Not doing so well on these either. So if it looked like I was doing a whole lot of them, as you can see, you've got to do a whole lot or you can't expect to see results, right? Okay, so I obviously did not get actually any of these. Are they all splits? They're all splits. Okay, did I have some drones that were worthwhile? A pure, what am I looking? Pure dirty. I've got one pure dirty drone. That's not very good odds. I don't know that I want to waste that one on a split, but oh well, we will. So let's take a look at our splits. Any of them any better than others? Well, you've got a 3 on fertility. That's good. You're pretty good, actually. 3 on fertility. You're about the same. Not so much. Ooh, a 2 there. I think we got a winner. This one here. Whoops, what am I doing? Over here. So we're going to take that one and we're going to put it with our pure drone. See if we get lucky. But then we got to do some others. And we're going to do it with, I guess, all of these. On this one, we'll put that in. And make sure that the drones, that we already know that these are I'm not even sorting them anymore. Just stick them in, hope for the best. Okay, so I'm not going to wait for them to run through, but that's what we go through. This is the one I hold out hopes for on being solid common all the way through. The other ones we got to hope to get lucky. But I wanted you to see the thought process I go through for the next step of it. Couple of things I wanted to show you here just before we end this off. I have my slime boots on and I got my slime sling here. And when I was going around in the overworld, just for anybody that hasn't seen how far you can go with one of these things, quite a ways. Well, this is where I was going. Perfect. Okay, I talked about water wheels, but I didn't show you one. I replaced each of these. Doesn't look like it's connected, but it is. Oh, this is backed up. I put in an RF engine. Oh, I did something that I consider sort of dumb over here. These were not connecting to the little what do you call those crates. weren't connecting to the crate. So I put in a chest. What I should have done, and I'm going to change this afterwards, is I could have put a hopper here, because hoppers can feed into the crates. Hopper ducks cannot for some reason. And I don't like that little space, having to make a space above this. So I'll probably put a hopper there and a hopper there and move this back to being a crate. But anyways, I'm now using RF power. And because I'm not eating up all my charcoal making it, I'm getting lots of charcoal for things like my miner and things. So let's talk about water wheels. First off, let's cover the big mistake that everybody makes. They can't get water wheels to work. And what you do is when you go to place the dynamo, you can just barely see the dynamo behind this here. Place it from this side so that when you place it, it will have the sort of copper colored rings. They're actually sort of square rings pointing in this direction. Then, when you go to place the water wheels, click on the dynamo. So the first one, you click on the dynamo, you place the water wheel, then you click on the little dot on the water wheel to place the next one, and then the next one. So you get a triple that way. You must connect them up, or they will not create power. That's the problem that most people have. They say, oh, look, I made water wheels and they look exactly like the picture, but I'm not getting any power. What's wrong? And that's because they did something like place the dynamo after they'd placed the wheels, and that doesn't work. Okay, so we got these things up to 88 power. For those of you that don't know, see that top blue one? I put the source water against the side, so 3 of them up there. It wraps down and around and comes like this. This one here, I put the water on top. It flows this direction, so it's helped giving a little push towards the top. Here, I put it on top again. It's flowing this direction, giving it a little push here as well. And that's what gets us up to our 88. One other thing I'm going to show you. I probably should have used my sling. Whoops. This thing is so easy to move now. Get out my wrench. Is it full? Bet you it is. Yeah, it's full. I don't know that it's actually finished. Let's pull some stuff out. Oh, it does say finished. Never mind. So we just shift right click. Boom, we pick it up. We come over, figure out where we want to place it. So 1, 2, 3, it's now got 7 in it, right? Or it goes like in a 7 by 7. And then I just grab another one of my little wooden crates, put it on top, and it stores all its stuff, and it's got unbreakable tools. I'm putting blocks of coal in it. That works for like about 4 times placing it. And the only issue is these things will get filled up. And so I got to come along and remove some of the 64s about halfway through, or it won't finish for me. But that's enough for this episode. I've already spent long enough on it. I hope you learned something new. Go out there and have some fun. Thanks.